So I will in a nutshell say that my journey started with reading. A lot of things began not to make sense to me while I was in the Catholic Church, especially one thing that happened. Anybody that is within somewhere in a point stage will understand what I'm saying. Things began not to make sense to me. The church, got money from the poor masses, built a school because they felt that it will generate a revenue for the people for the church to grow. But after building the school and everything, and the school started growing, the name of the school is Holy Rosary College per se. It started growing. It didn't still stop them from collecting money, collecting levies, father's levy, ordination levy, confession, all those things. It couldn't make sense to me. It couldn't make sense to me. The same thing repeating all over, extortion and everything. So I began to ask questions. So as an art student, I got exposed to Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. So I read Things Fall Apart, and it exposed the fact that once upon a time, my people were traditionalists. My people were practiced some indigenous religion per se. So that also led me to reading Birago Diop's Vanity, Gabriel Okara, and the rest of them. So it took me to reading Walter Rodney's How Europeans Underdeveloped Africa, and also Wole Soyinka's Trials of Brother Jero. So the hypocrisy, the religious hypocrisy began to make sense, began to become clearer to me. So I began to ask questions. But as a child, I couldn't just speak up, because if you speak up, you may be chastised. So I'm always too intentional about whatever I'm doing. I just concluded I was not going to be religious, but I needed, some backup, because what they agreed over there was not making sense to me. I changed my mind from that dream of becoming a Catholic priest. So things were not just making sense to me. So I needed a backup, because it's at that level, you will see yourself wallowing in cognitive dissonance, confusion, because you may not even, and we'll discuss that as we delve into the business of the day.
All right, if I may just step in a little here, you're talking about the journey, through, religion before you became a humanist. A lot of people, come out of religion, and a lot of things happen to them and all that. So how did your family, receive it when they started seeing that you were no longer, interested in religious activities? You were no longer interested in what we're doing. Your attitude actually will change. How did they react to all that?
Well, it was disappointing to them, especially my father. But I'm always too intentional about what I'm doing. Yes, will I say I'm a Marxist. I'm also a lover of Machiavellian to some extent, not for evil, but to go through life. I'm also intentional. I don't just jump into things. I take it gradually. just like rats. Some rat will be biting you and still be blowing you some air to ease the tension or to ease the pains. So that was my style. So when I started, I would be arguing, talking about this more. If I go to church this Sunday, I won't go till the next. You get? So I was taking it gradually. So when you ask me, I will use some methodic reasoning to address you. Until I eventually left. So it wasn't easy. I went through some sort of stigma. But one thing that that was the challenge I was supposed to face is, and I will use it and make some point, is that I have this charisma and cherished character. Yes, whether religious or non-religious. So people say, after all, it's not a bad person living religion, because they have this wrong notion that religion is the beacon of morality. So living religion, I was still that good person that people used to know. So they didn't feel that impact so much that I left. So that is one aspect. So my advice to people is that for the fact that you left religion shouldn't mean you shouldn't have good character. It is when you have a bad character, when you develop a negative value, that they will have that wrong notion that irreligious people are bad people. But when when you leave religion and you become a better version of human being, that is where humanism come into play. You become a better version of human being. You'll be highly respected. You will not be a hypocrite, someone that is going back to what you preached against. Because majority of us left religion as a result of hypocrisy, as a result of the fact that there is a lot of hypocrisy in religion. So if you come out of hypocrisy and still build another habit of hypocrisy, it will be a sort of a kettle calling, or sorry, pot calling kettle black. And as we know, pot tend to be blacker or more black than the kettle. So that is the issue.